The Council voted for Earth's invasion. Humanity turned it into a grave. They all sat quietly, waiting for the discussion to start. At the center of the chamber, a large circular table floated in the air. Holograms of planets, stars, and ships moved around it. The council leader, a tall alien with green skin named Terrell, raised his three hands. "We are here to decide the fate of one small planet," he said. "The humans of Earth have grown too strong. They have weapons we do not fully understand. They resist our influence. It is time we act." Murmurs filled the room. Some aliens nodded. Others looked worried. Most believed humans were weak. They thought conquering Earth would be simple. Terrell motioned and the vote began. Meanwhile, on Earth, people went about their lives. Cities were busy. Children played in parks. People worked in offices and shops. No one expected what was happening far above their heads. In Washington, a man named Daniel Carter sat in a small laboratory. He was young, with messy brown hair and glasses that always slid down his nose. He worked on an energy project for the government. Daniel had been studying ways to protect Earth from threats. He did not know about the Council yet, but he always worried that one day, humans might meet enemies in space. In the same city, Laura Mitchell walked out of a pilot training center. She was strong and confident, with short blonde hair and bright green eyes. She had been training as a pilot since she was a child. She loved flying, and she loved challenge. Laura had been hearing strange signals from space, signals that could be alien probes. She felt something big was coming, but no one listened to her warnings. Back in the council chamber, Terrell spoke again. "The vote is final. Earth will be invaded. Prepare your fleets." A young alien delegate named Varn raised his voice. "Are you certain?" "Humans may be unpredictable. They could surprise us." Terrell's many eyes narrowed. "That is exactly why we must act. They have no allies in this council. They are alone. Our fleets will crush them quickly. They cannot defend themselves." The vote ended. The result was clear. Every delegate, except for one small group, agreed to invade Earth. The council expected the humans to fall like other planets they had conquered. They believed victory would be fast and easy. On Earth, the government received strange signals that something was coming. Daniel Carter was among the first to notice. He analyzed the signals for days, trying to understand them. Finally, he realized the signals were not natural. They were messages from space. He rushed to the Pentagon with his findings. Laura Mitchell heard the news at the pilot base. She gathered her squad of pilots for a briefing. "We don't know what is coming," she said. "But if these signals are real, we must be ready. We can't wait for them to arrive. We have to prepare now." Governments around the world started acting quickly. Scientists worked on new weapons. Soldiers trained for battle. Civilians were instructed to stay calm but follow emergency procedures. Humanity had never faced such a threat. Fear spread, but so did determination. Daniel Carter worked day and night on a secret project. He designed energy shields that could protect cities and satellites. He also built small, fast ships that could attack alien fleets in space. Every night he wrote notes and made calculations, hoping his inventions would give humans a chance. Laura Mitchell led her pilots in simulated battles. They practiced flying through storms, dodging lasers, and attacking invisible targets. She taught them to think like the enemy, to be clever and unpredictable. Her squad became ready for anything. The council, meanwhile, prepared their fleets. Ships larger than mountains filled space near their headquarters. They trained soldiers in advanced weapons. Every alien believed Earth would fall quickly. Few thought humans could fight back. One night, Daniel and Laura met at a secret conference. They had never worked together before. Daniel looked worried. "I have plans for weapons," he said, "but I need pilots to test them." "You are the best, Laura. Will you help me?" Laura nodded. "We don't have a choice. If the council attacks, Earth needs us. We will fight." They began planning. Daniel designed special ships that could move fast and strike unexpectedly. Laura trained pilots to use these ships with new tactics. They also thought about how to protect civilians. Shelters were built underground. Safe zones were marked in every city. On the other side of space, the Council believed their fleets were unstoppable. Taro looked at the holograms of Earth. "It is small," he said. "It will fall easily. The humans will beg for mercy." But not all aliens were confident. Varn, the young delegate, looked uneasy. He had seen humans' history. They had survived wars, famine, and disasters. "They are clever," he whispered to a friend. "We should not underestimate them." The first signs of conflict appeared near Earth's orbit. Alien scouts arrived to observe the planet. They sent reports back to the Council. Humans detected them. Daniel and Laura studied the scouts. They realized the aliens had weaknesses. Their ships were powerful but slow in some maneuvers. Their energy weapons could be blocked with shields. Laura led a small team to intercept the scouts. They moved quietly in the night, using fast ships Daniel had designed. The humans captured some scouts and studied them. Every discovery made them more confident. Humans were small in number, but they were clever and united. In Washington, Daniel spoke to government leaders. "The Council thinks Earth is weak," he said. "They are wrong. We can defend ourselves, but we must act smart. We must use our minds, not just our weapons." Laura trained pilots for nights without sleep. They practiced attacking and retreating, using every trick they could imagine. They learned to predict the aliens' movements, even before the aliens realized it themselves. Meanwhile, civilians prepared. Families learned where to go in case of attacks. Schools ran drills. People stored food, water, and medicine. Humanity knew the Council's decision meant danger, but they did not give up. They were ready to fight. Days passed. Alien fleets moved closer. Scouts reported more about Earth's defenses. They still believed humans would not resist strongly. But humans were ready to surprise them. Daniel finished his first energy shield prototype. It could cover a whole city and block energy attacks. He also built small drones that could fly into enemy ships and disable them. Laura tested pilots with these new drones. Each mission was dangerous, but the humans learned quickly. One night, Laura spoke to her squad. "Tomorrow we begin testing our plan," she said. "We fight smart. We fight together. We show them that Earth is not weak." Daniel watched from his lab. His hands shook as he looked at the energy shield controls. He thought about the people he loved, his friends, and the families who depended on them. "We have to win," he whispered. "We must make them regret ever thinking Earth was easy to take." High above, the Council prepared the invasion. Terrell smiled, thinking about the battle. "They will fall," he said. "They have no idea what is coming." But Daniel and Laura did not know the full size of the Council's fleet either. What they knew was that humans were ready to fight. Every mind, every hand, and every heart on Earth was preparing. They would not surrender. They would defend their home, no matter the cost. And so, the first chapter of this war began. Earth's defenders worked quietly, building, training, and planning. The Council believed victory was easy. Humans believed they could survive, and maybe, just maybe, they could turn this invasion into something the aliens would never forget. The sun rose over Washington, casting light across the city that had never felt so tense. People walked quickly, some staring at their phones, checking the latest alerts. The world seemed normal, but those who knew the truth understood it was not. The Council had voted for Earth's invasion. Every human had only days, maybe weeks, to prepare. Daniel Carter stood in his laboratory, reviewing blueprints. Energy shields were almost ready for full testing. Drones were complete and programmed to fly into enemy ships. His hands moved quickly, adjusting details, connecting wires, and running simulations. Each time he thought he was finished, he discovered a small improvement to make. He knew the aliens would not be easy to defeat. Every invention counted. Laura Mitchell entered the lab, her flight suit still slightly dusty from practice runs. "How's the shield?" she asked. Daniel looked up, tired but determined. Almost ready. I need pilots to test it in space to see if it can withstand energy weapons. That's where you come in. Laura nodded. We'll get it done. My squad is ready for anything. She looked at the computer screens filled with ship schematics. Daniel, are we sure this will work? Daniel paused. I don't know, but we have to try. If we don't, we won't have a chance when the fleet arrives. Meanwhile, across the city, government leaders met in a secure building. General Robert Lane spoke to a room full of military officers. The council thinks humans are weak. They believe their fleet will destroy us quickly. They are wrong. We have intelligence, technology, and the advantage of knowing our own planet. We will use that to fight back. Maps of the world displayed every major city, every military base, and even underground shelters. Officers discussed strategies to protect civilians and attack alien ships. Humans had never faced such a challenge, but for the first time, everyone realized their survival depended on working together. Outside, civilians prepared quietly. Families stocked food and water. Schools ran drills. Workers built temporary shelters in basements and tunnels. Everyone knew danger was coming, but humanity had a will to survive. Fear was strong, but determination was stronger. Daniel and Laura worked together to plan the first operation. They would intercept alien scouts that orbited Earth at high altitudes. The scouts were small but fast. They could relay information to the main fleet if humans did not act quickly. Laura's squad of pilots trained for hours. They practiced flying in tight formations, dodging simulated attacks and striking small targets. Every maneuver was rehearsed again and again. Even small mistakes could be deadly. One pilot, a young man named Kevin Brooks, spoke up during training. Do we know how many scouts there are? Laura shook her head. We don't know exactly. We only know they are watching us. That is why we must strike first. If they report weakness, the council fleet will come sooner. Daniel joined the training in a simulator. The drones will help you, he explained. They can fly into enemy ships and disrupt their systems. Your job is to guide them and escape safely. The squad practiced for days. Each pilot learned to trust their own instincts and their teammates. Laura emphasized creativity over force. We can't beat them with brute strength, she told them. We have to be smart, fast, and unpredictable. That is how humans survive. The first operation began at night. Daniel and Laura watched from the control room as small ships lifted into orbit. City lights twinkled below, peaceful and unaware of the danger above. The scouts appeared quickly, their ships silver and thin, moving like shadows. Laura's squad stayed hidden, using the shields and stealth maneuvers Daniel had designed. They struck suddenly. Drones flew into the scouts, short-circuiting engines and weapons. Lasers fired, but the shields held strong. Kevin Brooks' voice came through the radio. We've got one down. Another is spinning out of control, Laura smiled. Good work, keep moving. Don't stop until they are all disabled or gone. The mission was risky, but humans succeeded. A few scouts escaped, but most were captured or destroyed. Each victory gave humanity hope. Every alien loss proved that humans were not weak. Daniel studied the captured scouts in the lab. Their systems are advanced but predictable, he said. We can use this to our advantage. If the fleet comes, we can create traps. We can fight smart, not just hard. The next day, Laura briefed her squad. The council will send more ships. The first scouts are just the beginning. We have to be ready for a full invasion. That means training harder, thinking faster, and never giving up. Across the world, similar operations were taking place. Humans used satellites to detect alien signals. Small strike teams intercepted scouts near Europe, Asia, and South America. Each region learned from the others. Knowledge was shared quickly, creating a network of human defense. Daniel and Laura met with General Lane to discuss the next phase. We need more weapons, Lane said, not just shields and drones. We need traps, decoys, and ways to make their fleet weaker before it reaches Earth. Daniel nodded. I have plans. I can build energy nets, mines in space, and false signals to confuse them. We can force them into mistakes. Laura added, we also need to protect civilians. Cities are vulnerable. We can't just fight in space. We have to defend the ground as well. Weeks passed. Humans worked tirelessly, building, training, and testing. Daniel's inventions improved. Shields were stronger. Drones were faster. Pilots were sharper and more creative. Even civilians played a role. They helped construct shelters, study alien patterns, and report unusual activity. The council watched from afar. Terrell and his advisors were confident. They are small, weak, and disorganized, Terrell said. Our fleet will crush them. But one young delegate, Varn, grew worried. They are clever, he whispered to a friend. Even small humans can do big things. We must be cautious. The first human ambush in space was successful. Aliens were surprised by tactics they had never seen. The scouts reported back that humans were cunning, fast, and fearless. They expected easy victory, but humans had turned the tables. Back on Earth, Daniel and Laura celebrated briefly. We did it, Kevin Brooks said. We beat them at least once. Laura shook her head. This is just the beginning. The council will send the fleet soon. We have to be ready for much more. Daniel smiled slightly. And we will be. Every day we grow stronger. Every day we learn more. They think Earth is easy, but they are about to find out they were wrong. Civilian life continued under the shadow of war. Children played in parks, unaware of the scouts above. Families ate together, said goodbyes, and hoped for safety. Humans adapted quickly. The world was united in a way it never had been before. The council fleet moved closer to the solar system. Terrell gave orders to increase speed. Prepare for invasion, he said. Earth will fall quickly. Varn looked at the hologram of Earth. They may not fall, he whispered. On Earth, Daniel and Laura looked at the night sky. Stars shone above, silent and distant. We fight for this planet, Laura said, for everyone on it. We will not let them take it without a struggle. Daniel nodded. And we won't just defend it. We will make them regret underestimating us. Humans survive and humans fight back. That is what makes us strong. The first major human operation had succeeded, but the real war was yet to come. The council fleet was vast and humans were few. They had cleverness, courage, and determination. Those things had never failed them before. Laura trained her pilots late into the night. Daniel worked on new weapons and shields. Every invention, every maneuver, and every strategy was tested. Humans had learned quickly. Survival depended on intelligence and bravery, not just power. High above Earth, alien scouts continued to report. Their messages painted humans as clever and unpredictable. Each success of Daniel and Laura's team forced the council to reconsider. For the first time, the council saw that humans might not be as weak as they thought. But Terrell refused to believe it. They are small and primitive, he said. We will destroy them. We will conquer Earth. Nothing can stop us. The stage was set. Humans had learned to fight, plan, and strike first. The council believed victory was easy. Humans believed they could survive, and perhaps turn the invasion into a trap the council would never forget. And so, the second part of the story ended with preparation complete. Pilots were ready, scientists were ready, civilians were ready, and the first sparks of human resistance had already struck the alien forces. The invasion was coming, but humans were no longer waiting passively. They were ready to fight back. The night sky over Earth was quiet, but tension hung in the air. Every human knew that something large was coming. Satellites picked up distant shapes, moving fast through space. The Council's fleet was approaching, far larger than anyone had imagined. It stretched across the darkness, ships shining like stars, enormous and threatening. In Washington, Daniel Carter and Laura Mitchell watched the data feed on giant screens. "They are closer than we thought," Daniel said, his voice tense. Our scouts are reporting hundreds of warships. Some are bigger than cities. Laura frowned. We can't fight all of them at once, but we can use what we learned from the scouts. Hit fast, hit smart, and force them into mistakes. They called their pilots together. Kevin Brooks, Sarah Taylor, and other members of Laura's squad listened carefully. This is the real test, Laura said. Everything we practiced leads to this moment. You fly carefully but strike hard. Protect civilians when you can. And remember, humans survive by thinking, not by waiting for power to do it for us. At that moment, the first alien ships reached Earth's orbit. Huge metal giants hung in the sky, their weapons glowing. They fired warning beams, testing Earth's defenses. The cities below held their breath. Families huddled in shelters. Sirens echoed across the streets. Daniel activated the first energy shield over Washington. It shimmered like a dome of water, thick and bright. Lasers hit the shield and bounced off, sparks flying harmlessly into the sky. Daniel monitored every pulse, adjusting strength and energy flow. The shield was strong, but it could not hold forever. Laura led the first squadron into space. Their small ships darted between the larger alien vessels like fish in a stormy sea. Drones followed them, programmed to enter enemy ships and disable engines. Each pilot knew the stakes. If one mistake happened, it could mean death. Kevin Brooks spoke over the radio. I see a weak point near the engine. I'm going in. Careful, Laura warned. Stay within the plan, don't get greedy. Kevin's ship dove close to the alien vessel. The drone he released flew silently inside the ship, short-circuiting energy conduits. The alien ship shuddered and spun out of formation. Laura smiled. Good work, pull back and regroup. More ships followed. Humans moved fast, striking, retreating, and striking again. They used tactics no alien had seen before. They used decoys, false signals, and drones to confuse the fleet. Every success forced the aliens to slow down, rethink their strategy, and waste energy. Daniel monitored from the control room. They think they are in control, he muttered. They don't see the traps we set. On the ground, cities were safe for now. Shields covered Washington, New York, London, and Tokyo. Civilians stayed in bunkers, listening to the distant hum of war in the sky. Even children could feel the tension. They knew humans were fighting, and they hoped their parents and friends would survive. The alien fleet tried to regroup. Their commanders were surprised. Why are they so clever? One yelled. They are only humans. They should be easy to destroy. Laura spoke over the radio. Because we never give up. We fight smart. We fight together. That is what makes humans dangerous. The Council's fleet underestimated humans. Every attack they planned was met with resistance, traps, or clever tricks. One large alien cruiser followed a decoy ship, only to fly into a minefield Daniel had set in orbit. The ship exploded in a brilliant flash of light, scattering debris across the void. Kevin laughed in his headset. That was amazing. They didn't see it coming at all. Focus, Laura said. The battle is far from over. Daniel noticed patterns in the alien fleet. Their ships were powerful, but they moved slowly in coordinated groups. He devised a plan to split their forces. If we can force them to divide, we can attack smaller groups with drones and squadrons. That is how humans win. Laura agreed. She led her squadron to the edge of the alien formation. Using false signals, they tricked the fleet into thinking the attack would come from the north. The aliens moved their ships, leaving gaps in the center. Humans struck quickly. Drones disabled weapons and engines. Ships that seemed unstoppable were now falling one by one. The first major strike of the war ended with a surprise victory for humans. Several large alien ships were destroyed. Pilots returned to base, exhausted but alive. Daniel calculated the damage and smiled. They will think twice before underestimating us again. Meanwhile, Varn, the young council delegate, watched the battle from the council chambers. He had warned others that humans were clever. Now, seeing the fleet damaged and scattered, he felt fear. They are stronger than we imagined, he said. This is not overconfidence. They are smart. We must prepare for more. Terrell, the council leader, refused to admit defeat. They are small, he said. We only lost a few ships. The rest of the fleet will finish this. Earth will fall. Back on Earth, Daniel and Laura gathered their team. This is only the beginning, Daniel said. We have slowed them down, but the fleet is too large for a long fight. We need more strategies, more traps, and more coordination. Laura nodded. Every victory counts. Every pilot, every scientist, every civilian helping is part of this fight. Humans can turn even small wins into bigger ones. That is how we survive. The night passed with intermittent attacks. Alien ships tried different approaches but were repeatedly caught in traps or hit by drones. Humans learned quickly, using each encounter to improve their defenses. Every pilot gained experience. Every city gained confidence. Daniel worked tirelessly in the lab. He developed stronger shields, faster drones, and new weapons that could attack multiple ships at once. He knew the fleet would return with more force. Preparation was the key. Laura led daily briefings with her squadron. We can't let them see weakness, she told them. Even one mistake can be deadly. Remember, humans fight with their minds, not just their ships. On Earth, people slept fitfully. Sounds of distant alarms and energy pulses echoed through the night, yet hope remained. Humans had won the first major battle in space. They had shown that even against a much stronger enemy, they could survive and strike back. Varn continued to warn the Council. Humans adapt quickly. They are unpredictable. We cannot assume victory. Terrell dismissed him. Patience, they are clever, yes, but no matter how clever, they are still humans. We have numbers, technology, and experience. They will fall. The sun rose again over Earth. The fleet retreated slightly, regrouping for the next attack. Humans repaired what was damaged, strengthened shields, and prepared drones for the next strike. Every victory, every strategy, every invention gave them confidence. Daniel and Laura looked at the sky, filled with the shapes of alien ships. They will come back stronger, Daniel said. Laura smiled. So will we. Every day, humans grow smarter, faster, and braver. They will never expect what we can do when we fight together. The first major space battle had ended. Humans had survived. Aliens had learned that Earth was not weak. The war had begun, and humans had already proven that cleverness, courage, and determination could turn the tide even against overwhelming power. The Council had voted for Earth's invasion. The humans had turned the first attack into a grave for those who underestimated them. And this was only the beginning. The war above Earth had grown larger. The Council had sent reinforcements, and the skies were filled with alien ships once again. This time the fleet was stronger, faster, and better prepared. They had learned from their first defeat, but so had humans. In Washington, Daniel Carter studied the incoming ships on his screens. They are faster this time, he said, but their weapons are predictable. We can use traps again, and this time we need to make them costly. Laura Mitchell gathered her squadron for another briefing. Kevin Brooks, Sarah Taylor, and others listened closely. The aliens will try to hit multiple cities at once, Laura said. We have to split our forces carefully. Some of us defend the ground, others attack in space. Every move counts. Humans survive because we think ahead and we never give up. On the ground, cities prepared for battle. Shelters were reinforced. Civilians stayed calm but ready. In New York, families moved underground. In London, workers set up energy shield generators. In Tokyo, pilots prepared their ships for immediate launch. Humanity had learned quickly. Surviving meant acting together fast and smart. Daniel tested new drones. These drones were faster, stronger, and could target multiple enemy ships at once. He also improved the energy shields, making them larger and more durable. Each improvement gave humanity a slight advantage, but it was still not enough to fight the entire Council fleet head-on. Humans had to rely on strategy, deception, and speed. Laura led her pilots into space before the first wave arrived. Their small ships moved like shadows among the stars, invisible to the alien fleet until the last moment. The first attack came without warning. Alien ships fired energy beams at cities, but the shields absorbed most of the damage. Sparks and debris flew into the atmosphere, making the night sky glow red and gold. "Move fast," Laura shouted over the radio. "Hit them, then retreat. Remember the patterns." The pilots worked together like a single unit. Drones flew into alien ships, disabling engines and weapons. Humans used decoys to mislead the fleet. When one squad attacked from the north, another came from the south. The aliens were confused, forced to spread their ships thin. Kevin Brooks dove close to a large alien cruiser. He released a drone that exploded inside the engine compartment. The ship shuddered and slowed. "We got it," he yelled. "Good job," Laura said. "Pull back before more reinforcements arrive." Even as humans won small victories, the aliens tried new tactics. Some ships fired faster beams. Others moved in unexpected patterns. Humans adapted. Every day, every battle taught them something new. Every failure became a lesson. On Earth, General Robert Lane coordinated ground defenses. Soldiers used anti-air weapons, satellite lasers, and energy barriers to protect cities. Civilians helped repair damage, move supplies, and support pilots. The world had become united in ways it never had before. Fear was still present, but determination was stronger. Daniel worked on a new weapon. It could create chain reactions in the alien fleet. If a single ship exploded near others, it could damage or destroy multiple ships at once. He ran simulations, adjusting timing and placement. The weapon was risky, but humans had to take risks to survive. Laura's squadron tested new formations in space. They practiced flanking, ambushing, and retreating without losing ships. Each pilot understood that intelligence and teamwork were more important than strength alone. Humans were small but clever. Every move counted. The second wave of alien ships arrived over Europe. Cities trembled under their weapons. Shields held, but only just. Civilians ran to shelters as the sky burned with energy. Laura led her squadron to intercept. Using Daniel's chain reaction plan, they lured a group of cruisers into a trap. A small explosion triggered a larger one, destroying several ships at once. "Look at that," Kevin shouted. "We did it again," Daniel smiled. "That is how humans survive. We turn disadvantages into advantages. We fight smart, not just hard." The council watched in disbelief. Taro could not understand what was happening. "They are too clever," he said. "We outnumber them 10-1, yet they continue to resist. How is this possible?" Varn, the young delegate, watched quietly. "I warned you," he said. "Humans are not weak. They learn fast, adapt, and fight together. Every small victory gives them confidence. They will keep resisting." Taro refused to listen. "Numbers and weapons win wars," he said. "This is only temporary. Earth will fall." But humans had already proven that thinking, creativity, and courage could defeat larger forces. Daniel and Laura coordinated attacks from different regions. Pilots from America, Europe, and Asia struck alien fleets in waves. Drones flew silently into enemy ships, causing confusion and destruction. On the ground, civilians took risks to help the defense. Engineers repaired damaged shields. Soldiers guided evacuations. Even children and elderly helped move supplies and maintain communication networks. Every person had a role in the war. Humanity was united as never before. In the skies above South America, Laura's squadron encountered a massive alien cruiser. It fired a beam that could destroy entire buildings. Laura led a clever maneuver. She sent decoy ships in one direction while her squadron attacked from the other. Drones disabled the cruiser's engines, and the ship drifted out of formation. Daniel calculated the results. "Each destroyed ship weakens the fleet," he said. "If we continue like this, we can force the council to retreat or make serious mistakes." Hours passed. Battles raged over the oceans, forests, and cities. Humans used every advantage: terrain, strategy, teamwork, and clever inventions. Each victory was small but significant. Every pilot, scientist, and civilian contributed to the fight. Laura watched the night sky filled with explosions and smoke. "They think they are invincible," she said. "But humans never give up. Every time they attack, we are ready, and every attack they launch costs them." Daniel looked over the screens. "They underestimate us, they always do. That is our advantage. They think power wins, but humans survive with brains and hearts." On Earth, news reports described heroic actions. People cheered pilots and scientists. Every small success inspired hope. Humanity had begun to turn fear into courage. They had shown that even against a larger, more powerful enemy, they could fight back and survive. The Council fleet, however, continued to press. Terrell grew frustrated. "They resist too much. Send reinforcements, crush them completely." Varn tried again to warn him. "You cannot crush them easily. They will fight, adapt, and strike back. Every ship you lose will teach them more." Terrell ignored him. He was convinced numbers and power would win in the end. But the human resistance continued to grow stronger with every passing day. Daniel and Laura planned for the next attack. "We cannot stop now," Daniel said. "Every day we wait, the Council fleet grows closer. We must fight smart, protect civilians, and weaken them as much as possible before the main invasion." Laura agreed. "We fight not just for survival, but to show that humans are dangerous when pushed. Every attack is a lesson. Every victory is proof that Earth is not weak." In the skies above the Pacific, humans lured another group of cruisers into an ambush. Drones disabled engines. Ships collided and exploded. Even with losses, humanity's courage and strategy turned the battle in their favor. Kevin Brooks radioed excitedly. "They can't predict us." "They keep falling into our traps," Laura responded, calm and focused. "Keep fighting, stay together, protect each other. That is how humans win." Across the world, civilians continued their roles. Every family, every worker, every soldier contributed. Humanity had turned preparation and intelligence into weapons. They were small but smart, united and brave. The Council had voted for Earth's invasion. They believed they would conquer easily. But humans had turned the skies above Earth into a graveyard for alien ships. Every loss taught humans something new. Every strategy tested made them stronger. Varn watched in silence, realizing the Council may have underestimated humans entirely. Terrell refused to admit it, but the signs were clear. Humans were clever, brave, and united in ways no one expected. As night fell, Daniel and Laura prepared for the next phase. Pilots rested briefly, then checked ships again. Scientists repaired shields and drones. Civilians reinforced shelters and supply lines. Everyone knew the fleet would return stronger and more determined. Humans were ready. They would fight, adapt, and survive. And this was only the fourth part of the war. The main battles were yet to come, but humanity had already shown the Council that Earth was not weak. Humans fought with brains, courage, and heart. Every action, every victory, and every sacrifice had proven one thing. The Council had voted for Earth's invasion, but humans would not fall easily. They had begun turning the invasion into a grave for those who thought Earth was weak. The sun had just begun to rise over Earth, casting long shadows across the cities. People knew today could decide the fate of their planet. The Council fleet was close, larger and more powerful than any wave before. Every alien ship gleamed in space, ready to strike. But humans were ready too. Daniel Carter stared at the screens in his lab. Hundreds of ships approached, many larger than cities. "This is it," he said quietly. "We face the full fleet. Every decision we make now matters." Laura Mitchell gathered her squadron one last time. Pilots checked ships, drones, and shields. "Today we show them what humans are made of," she said. "Every move, every strike counts. We fight not just to survive, but to make them regret ever underestimating Earth." On the ground, civilians prepared for impact. Families stayed in bunkers. Soldiers manned weapons. Engineers strengthened shields. Every person had a role. Humanity had learned that survival meant working together. Daniel activated the largest energy shield ever built. It covered the capital and major cities. Sparks flew as the first alien beam struck, but the shield held. It shivered under pressure but did not break. Laura's squadron flew into orbit, small ships darting like shadows among the massive alien vessels. Drones followed, programmed to disable engines, weapons, and communication systems. Every pilot knew the stakes. Failure could mean the end of Earth. The first clash was sudden. Alien ships fired powerful beams at shields and satellites. Humans struck in return. Drones flew silently into the alien fleet, causing explosions and chaos. Ships collided, engines failed, and the Council fleet began to lose order. Kevin Brooks shouted over the radio. "We're hitting them fast, they don't know what's coming," Laura smiled. "Good, keep moving, stay in formation. Hit, then retreat." Daniel monitored the battlefield from the lab. His calculations were precise. If we can force their ships into clusters, we can use chain reactions. One destroyed ship can take out many more. He activated the new weapon. A massive energy pulse targeted a group of cruisers. One ship exploded, then another and another. The chain reaction spread, destroying dozens of ships at once. The Council in their chambers watched in horror. Taro could not understand how humans were doing this. "They are small, primitive, yet they destroy our fleet," he shouted. Varn, the young delegate, watched calmly. "I warned you," he said. "They adapt, they learn, they fight together. This is why you underestimate them at your own peril." The alien fleet tried to regroup, but humans were ready. Pilots led them into traps, drones disabled engines, and new energy nets slowed ships down. Each loss weakened the fleet further. On the ground, General Robert Lane coordinated defenses. Anti-air weapons and satellites fired at ships trying to strike cities. Shields held, but humans knew they could not last forever. Every victory in space gave them more time to protect civilians. Daniel and Laura coordinated their teams for the final strategy. "We can't just fight them ship by ship," Daniel said. "We need to force the remaining fleet into a trap near the moon. Once they are grouped, we can hit them with everything we have." Laura nodded. "We do it together. Pilots, drones, shields, weapons. Every human counts. Every move matters." The fleet was drawn toward the moon. Humans used false signals to lure them. Alien ships moved in tight formations, believing they were advancing toward victory. But the moon trap waited. Daniel activated massive energy nets in space. They glowed faintly, almost invisible. Ships entered the trap without realizing it. Drones flew into engines, while energy pulses from Daniel's lab struck critical points. Ships exploded in sequence, unable to escape. Laura led a squadron to strike the remaining cruisers. Pilots flew boldly, dodging weapons and striking with precision. One by one, alien ships were destroyed. Kevin Brooks maneuvered his ship around a giant cruiser, releasing a drone that disabled its engines. The ship spun helplessly and collided with another, causing a huge explosion. On Earth, civilians watched as bright flashes lit the night sky. Cities were safe under shields, but people could feel the intensity of the battle above. Every explosion, every flash, every strike was a sign that humans were winning against overwhelming odds. The Council watched in panic. Taro could not comprehend the losses. "This cannot be," he shouted. "They are only humans." Varn stood silently, shaking his head. "They are more than humans. They are clever, brave, and united. That is what makes them dangerous." As the final ships entered the trap, Daniel activated a massive chain reaction. Explosions spread across the fleet, tearing through cruisers, carriers, and command ships. The alien armada, once vast and powerful, was destroyed in a brilliant sequence of destruction. Laura guided her pilots back to Earth. Ships were damaged, some barely able to fly, but all had survived. Humans had fought together, used their brains, and turned the impossible into victory. Kevin Brooks radioed excitedly. "We did it! The fleet, it's gone." Daniel smiled, exhausted but relieved. "It's not just gone. They underestimated humans, and that cost them everything." On the Council's homeworld, survivors fled in panic. Terrell's command was broken. Ships that remained had no structure, no strategy, and no hope. Humans had won not because of power, but because of courage, intelligence, and unity. Varn looked at the stars and whispered, "This is why humans are never to be underestimated. They survive, they fight, and they adapt. They are dangerous beyond measure." On Earth, people celebrated cautiously. Cities were safe, shelters opened, and families reunited. The skies were still filled with smoke and debris, but humanity had survived the greatest threat in its history. Humans had faced a council fleet, a force they could never match in size or technology, and they had won. Daniel and Laura stood together, looking at the stars. "They thought Earth was easy," Laura said quietly. "They thought we would fall," Daniel nodded. "They thought wrong. We defended our home. We showed them humans survive, fight, and win when pushed to the edge." Across the world, pilots and scientists repaired ships and systems. Engineers rebuilt shields. Soldiers protected civilians. Every person had played a role. Humanity had turned the Council's invasion into a grave for those who thought Earth was weak. Kevin Brooks approached Laura. "Do you think they will come back?" he asked. Laura shook her head. "Maybe, but we are ready now. They know humans are not easy to defeat, and next time they will think twice." Daniel added, "We have survived because we worked together. That is humanity's strength: intelligence, courage, and unity. That is why Earth is safe." The night passed with quiet relief. Humans celebrated carefully, knowing the danger could return. But for now they had won. The skies, once filled with alien ships, were empty except for satellites and human patrols. The Council had voted for Earth's invasion. They had believed humans were weak, small, and unprepared. But humans had turned the invasion into a grave for those who underestimated them. Ships were destroyed, fleets scattered, and alien leaders forced to retreat in disgrace. Laura and Daniel walked among the survivors, seeing families reunite, children smile, and communities rebuild. Humanity had faced annihilation and survived. They had turned fear into courage and strategy into victory. Varn, the young council delegate, recorded his report. "Humans are not to be underestimated," he wrote. "They are clever, brave, and united. Their survival is not luck. It is skill, determination, and courage. Any species that underestimates them does so at its own peril." Terrell's command was shattered. The Council had learned a lesson too late. Humans were not weak. Humans were dangerous. Humans were capable of turning invasion into disaster for any enemy. Daniel Carter looked at the stars, exhausted but proud. "We defended our planet. We turned fear into victory." "Humanity is stronger than anyone thought," Laura Mitchell smiled. "And we will continue to be. Earth is ours and we will protect it. No one will underestimate humans again." Across the planet, humanity celebrated quietly. They had survived. They had fought together. They had turned the impossible into reality. The Council had voted for Earth's invasion, but humans had turned it into a grave. And now, for the first time, humans knew their true power. Courage, intelligence, unity, and determination. That was what made Earth strong. That was what made humans unstoppable.